You're welcome to the flagship news on television Nigeria, reaching you live from our hilltop studios in Guzape, Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Charles Ibe. And in the news today, organized labor says nationwide strike is not yet an option in the face-off with government over the fuel and electricity tariff hike. Nigerian government under criticism as UK Parliament demands sanctions of government officials over NSAS protests. Nigeria's stock market loses 8 billion naira as the economy slips into a recession. While in sports, Nigerian sports minister promises overhaul of the football architecture and the Super Eagles management. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, Twitter and Instagram handles, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for regular updates of news on the go. Following the breakdown of dialogue between the federal government and organized labor over the hike in the petrol fuel price and electricity tariff, labor leaders have said it hasn't yet adopted a nationwide strike as next line of action. The Deputy President of Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajaero, disclosed this at a youth conference on Monday, jointly organized by the NLC and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, on Monday in Abuja. The organized labor on Sunday at a reconvened meeting with the federal government aimed at addressing the increase in the price of fuel from 160 per litre to 170 naira and the increase in electricity tariff, staged a walkout on the deliberations. Ajaero explained that the federal government has violated the agreements between the organized labor, adding that the Congress will not, at the slightest provocation, start talking about strike.
Your body bang, bang, your body bang, 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 your body bang, your body bang. Fire. And I gave us when you take a selfie, when you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend the low, come on girl when you take a selfie. When you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend it low.
Want to shoot a dope music video at 50% discount?
50% discount?
Yeah, 50% discount. Bougie Down Television Nigerian with world-class equipment and a badass expert crew.
Okay, place your camera now. Shh. Continue.
Where was I? Everything extra.
Carolina, you bada.
Hurry up.
I know say you know this thing you did do, my girl, say you know. Your body is big and I know say you know.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business, I mean your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzape, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern. Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed and educated on contemporary
Welcome back. Members of the United Kingdom Parliament who began debate on handling of the NSAS protest and its aftermath by the Nigerian government on Monday generally criticized the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari for the attack and intimidation of protesters who took part in the NSAS demonstrations. The debate by members of the Petitions Committee, which took place at the Westminster Hall, was sequel to a petition started by Silas Ojo, a UK-based Nigerian who had garnered over 200,000 signatures. The Parliament noted that the Nigerian government says it has disbanded SARS, but the corruption and brutality of the security forces continues with violence against its citizens, and called on the Nigerian authorities to stop freezing bank accounts and illegal detention of key protesters in the NSAS protest. They further demanded sanctions on government officials and security agents in the form of visa bans, freezing of accounts, and stopping the funding and training of the Nigeria Police Force. Responding on behalf of the UK government, Wendy Morton, who is also the Minister at the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, said the reports of intimidation of NSAS protesters were worrying, while the UK government was communicating with the President's Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Justice Okonabang of the Federal High Court Abuja on Monday ordered that Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno South Federal Constituency at the National Assembly, be remanded in Kuje Custodial Center of the Nigeria Correctional Service for failure to produce Abdurrashid Maina, a former chairman of the Pensions Reforms Tax Team, who he stood as surety in court. Senator Ndume was given the options to either being remanded in prison custody, forfeiting the 500 million naira bail bond to the federal government by paying the sum into the federation account, disposing of his Asokoro Abuja property by the government in order to realize the bail bond, or producing Maina in court while the session lasted. Ndume's failure to choose any of the options resulted in his being led away by officers of the Nigeria Correctional Services. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is prosecuting Maina alongside his firm, Common Input Property and Investment Limited, on a 12-count charge of operating fictitious bank accounts, corruption and money laundering to the tune of 2 billion naira, for which the Commission has so far called 6 witnesses. Maina was granted bail in a sum of 1 billion naira on November 26, 2019, which was later varied on January 28, 2020 to 500 million naira with a senator as surety, and further varied on the 29th of June 2020, leading to a volunteer by Ndume as his surety. Since his release on bail, the trial has been adjourned on 4 consecutive occasions without Maina making any appearance. We'll take a break now, and the rest of the news continues thereafter. Join us again.
Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others.
Thanks for staying tuned, and you're watching the flagship news on television, Nigerian. The coast appears to be clear for Nigeria's former finance minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's bid for the leadership of the World Trade Organization, as South Korea appears to have decided to withdraw its trade minister Yoo Min-hee from the race for Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to be confirmed as the head of the global trade body. Washington Trade Daily quoted people familiar with the development to have disclosed that South Korea was expected to announce its decision to withdraw Myung-hee in the coming days to enable the World Trade Organization General Counsel appoint Okonjo-Iweala and has already conveyed his decision to the United States, which has been insisting on the selection of Myung-hee over Okonjo-Iweala. A General Council meeting has been scheduled to take place on December 17th, but it is not clear whether the meeting can take place in the current restriction, if the current restriction due to the resurgence of the coronavirus pandemic continues next month. 50 lawyers in Enugu State have volunteered to provide free legal services for indigent petitioners appearing before the Police Brutality and Extrajudicial Killings Panel sitting in the state. The chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association Subcommittee on Pro Bono, Nnajume Ofokansi, who disclosed this in Enugu on Monday during the panel sitting, stated that lawyers would be drawn from the 5 NBA branches at Enugu, Ezeago, Nsukka, Obolafo, and Oji River, and would prepare the briefs, file them, as well as defend the cases. The panel's chairman, Justice Kingsley Ude, retired, urged petitioners who have no lawyers to take advantage of the opportunity to prosecute their matters, as there were indications that a good number of the petitioners could not afford legal services. The Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSE, reopened on Monday on a negative note, causing the market capitalization to depreciate by 8 billion naira. The all-share index shed 15.04 absolute points, representing a decline of 0.04% to close at 121.78 points, while overall market capitalization value fell by 8 billion naira to close at 17.83 trillion naira. Monday's downtrend was driven by losses in medium and large capital stocks, among which Stanbic IBTC Holding, Lafarge Africa, Flour Mills of Nigeria, Guinness Nigeria, and Adova PLC. However, the total volume traded increased by 64.69% to 568.037 million shares, worth 7.326 billion naira, and traded in 8,928 deals. Transactions in the shares of Zenith Bank topped the activity chart with 79.741 million shares, valued at 1.913 billion naira. The rest of the news continues after this break. Join us again. You're still watching the news on television Nigerian. And on the foreign scene, President Donald Trump of the United States has finally given a go-ahead for the Biden-Harris transition to begin after days of stalling the process. Trump, in a tweet on Monday, said that he was directing his team to cooperate on the transition, but however vowed to keep up with the contest of the elections. Trump gave the approval for Emily Murphy, head of the General Services Administration, and her team to do what is needed to be done with regards to initial protocols in line with the transition. Despite losing the presidential election with over 270 college votes, according to U.S. electoral guidelines, President Trump has refused to concede, alleging election fraud and corruption, but has not been able to substantiate his claims. A former militia leader in the Democratic Republic of Congo has been sentenced to life in prison for crimes against humanity, including mass rape. A military court convicted Ntabo Ntaberi of murder, rape, sexual slavery, and enlisting children under the age of 15. The ruling came at the end of a 2-year trial that saw 178 victims testify, a verdict which the United Nations described as a source of immense hope for the many victims of the conflict in the DRC. Ntaberi, also known as Sheka, was one of the leaders of a militia group called Nduma Defense of Congo, NDC, which operated in the restive eastern province of North Kivu. Authorities first issued a warrant of arrest in January 2011, accusing him of orchestrating raids on the villages in mid-2010, and he was on the run for nearly 6 years, but eventually surrendered to UN peacekeepers in DR Congo in July 2017. The leader of Ethiopia's Tigray region has rejected the Prime Minister's ultimatum to surrender by Wednesday and has pledged to fight on in the conflict engulfing the north of the country. Debretsion Gabriel Michael denied federal investigations, and the federal government claims that the regional capital, Mekelle, was surrounded, with hundreds have reportedly been killed and tens of thousands fled in nearly 3 weeks of fighting in a crisis the United Nations warned could trigger a humanitarian crisis. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Sunday announced a 72-hour deadline for the region's fighters to surrender, and the army warned Mekelle that Mekelle's 500,000 residents that soldiers would encircle the city and attack it, while Debretsion, who heads the Tigray People's Liberation Front, said the Prime Minister doesn't understand the people and that they are ready to die in defense of their rights to administer their region. In sports, Sports Minister Sunday Dare at the weekend pledged that the federal government would overhaul the senior national football team, Super Eagles, to attain best possible heights in world football. The minister also promised to restructure the Secretariat of the Football Federation to meet the aspirations of the people. Speaking on the recent lackluster displays in the back-to-back African Cup of Nations qualifying series against Sierra Leone, the minister, who apologized to Nigerians for the Eagles' disappointing outings against the Leon Stars, said the result had once again highlighted the urgency in restructuring the national team, adding that the games showed that the technical crew led by Gennett Raw cannot meet Nigeria's aspirations. Dare dismissed the claims in some quarters that he has no power to wade into the Super Eagles since there are elected officers in charge of the country's football, stating that as the chief custodian of Nigeria's sports sector, he has the power to correct any shortcomings he discovers in any of the arms of the sector, including football. And that's the news at this time on Television Nigeria. And do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup of programs, and always like, share with your friends and family. Many thanks for watching. I am Charles Ibe.